convention. Something prompted me to just get up suddenly, told my wife, buy me a ticket. I'm going to the Solomons for the Easter convention. And as I came off the boat for the convention, the gentleman's daughter saw me there because a lot of people had come to see the people who were arriving on the boat, because many of us, or well, all of us were coming for the convention. And so she went back to her mom, to his dad, and she said, hey, Dad, guess who arrived on that boat? Obviously, she didn't know what the whole thing was about. And her dad said, well, who arrived? And then she said, Dr. Corey, guess he arrived. I just saw him walk past now. That's it. That just blew him away. And he ran all the way from where he was residing, came up to where I was, and started hugging me and crying, shouting, praise the Lord, praise the Lord. And I was wondering, what's going on? I mean, I know I haven't seen you guys for years, but I mean, this is a little bit over the edge here. And he said, no, I couldn't believe God is so good, because I have a message that God wanted me to pass on to you. And so we were standing there, and we were standing on a patch of sand, and he started using the coconut husk. And I mean, at first I was a little bit skeptical because, I mean, the guys at home, there's a lot of stories. People come, oh, I have a word from the Lord. I have a word from the Lord. So, I was a little bit skeptical. Oh my God, this is another one of those. And, but the first question he asked me blew me away, because how can a person from the islands, know about this question? The first question he asked me is, where is Palm Island? And that blew me away. I mean, that's, wow, even people who reside in Australia don't even know where Palm Island is. I mean, if he asks for Sydney or Melbourne or Brisbane, oh yeah, all right. Everybody in the Solomons know those places. But when he asked me, where is Palm Island? That caught my attention and blew me away. So I put one coconut husk and I said, this is Palm Island here. And he said, where is Thursday Island? And I said, oh, Thursday Island is here. We put another coconut husk there. And he said, so where are you? I said, I'm in Cairns. It's in the middle here between these two coconut husks. And he said, praise the Lord, praise the Lord. I said, why? God is talking about a tsunami. It will start in the islands, in the Solomons, PNG, Vanuatu, Fiji here. So he's basically talking about the South Pacific. He said, God is talking about a tsunami. The ripples will start in the islands, and they will slowly build up. They'll hit this coast, and he pointed to between those two coconut husks. They'll hit this coast, and they'll just transform into a mighty tsunami. And that tsunami will go up into Southeast Asia and beyond. And so that's the message he gave to me. And he was so relieved that he was able to pass on that message. I think he came to Cairns in 2016, and he came to Cairns again in 2018. And when he came with a prayer team, 6 of them, they came in 2016. It was another mountaintop experience. They were on the mountain fasting and praying for 1 week. And by the end of the week, that was about Saturday night, God spoke to them. And he said, you are going to Cairns. And, these island, they don't even know where. They asked, where is Cairns? And yeah, there's no discussion. It's just, you are going to Cairns. And they said, well, we don't have any money. We don't have any passports. We don't have any, there's no resources that will get us from our island here to Cairns in 2016. God demonstrated to them. They were telling me that God shot an arrow. He said, watch that tree there. And this arrow of fire just hit the tree. They saw it with their eyes. And the next morning when they checked, there was burns on the tree trunk where that arrow hit. They knew that God meant what he was saying, although it sounded impossible and it sounded crazy. They came down on Sunday morning for the service at the church. And then another young girl who was considered, not very important in the village, low socioeconomic status, started crying and prophesying that there was this men who will be traveling to Australia. And that sealed the deal. They just jumped on the boat that came by, and with no clothes, no nothing, they just came to Honiara. And on the way, they rang my sister and they said, God told us to go to Australia, to Cairns. Can you help us? And she said, oh, well, traveling to Cairns is not like, you're just catching a bus and going. You have to need passports. And anyway, to cut a long story short, that massive, I think less you know about it when you were trying to help Luke. Yeah, this time Dora had to deal with 4 passports. The other 2 already had passports, but the 4 of them didn't have any passports. So she had to put passports, put in applications for visas to Australia, which was a phenomenal task then. That's before China came in. So Australia's hardline policy on the Pacific was evident. Then you have to, in fact, they were telling me, out of when there are 13 questions you have to tick before you are qualified for a visa to visit Australia. The first 3 they've already failed. Number 1, do you have a job? Well, they don't have a job. They are village men. Number 2, do you have a do you have a job? Sorry, do you education? Well, they're not educated men. And number 3 is, do you have a bank account? They don't have bank accounts. The rest is standard questions. And so, but miraculously, they all got their visas, they all got their passport, and around August in 2016, they just landed at the airport here in Cairns. Apparently, I sent a bag of my clothes over to the Solomons about 3 or 4 months ahead. I was hoping my sisters can make some money out of selling it as secondhand clothing, but that's the clothes these guys got when they arrived, because they just came straight from Prayer Mountain, and they didn't even have to go home to say farewell to their wives, and they said, oh well, here, this is a bag of clothes here. You guys just choose whatever fits you. And while they came and stayed here for 3 weeks, and then I started seeing all my clothes. Oh, that was the shirt. I said, oh, that's the trousers. I said, over that. Yeah, but that's how God worked.